Welcome to Motorcycle Ways. Today I'm talking about the windscreen on my Honda CB 500X. There's a lot of talk about wind buffeting and wind noise and what's the best screen to have on your bike. A shorter one or taller ones or extended pieces, or I suppose it all depends on your build, your height and that, and what protection you have. And on my Honda I have the genuine Honda screen that came with the bike originally. So, but I also had an extended piece, an aftermarket extended piece that sits on the top of the screen like that and gives you an extra 3-4 inches of height and protection. But I found when it got wet that the visibility then wasn't as good, it was poor. Even when it dried up, the water probably on the inside of it took a long time to clear and the visibility wasn't great. So I took it off to see what it was like without it, and I actually find it fine without it. It doesn't make a huge difference. People do find them helpful, and I find that they do keep the wind off. And if you have a windscreen like mine and you need an extended piece, so you can get them quite easily online. Companies like GV or PUG, P-U-I-G, or WRS, any of them will supply extended piece like that, and they're quite reasonable to buy, yeah, so they're not bad at all. But I didn't find it a big help, to be honest, but there you go, depends on what you're into. So now we're going to lower this down and see how we go. So in order to lower the screen, we just have to loosen the 4 Allen key bolts here and take the screen off first. So just a 5mm Allen key will fit. Sometimes in adjusting the screen up or down, them few inches can make the difference. You can be getting wind buffeting from the top of your screen, and you may think that an extended piece or a higher piece would be better, but it can be just sometimes the wind coming straight off the top of the screen that's hitting you directly. So maybe lowering it might just change that too and make all the difference. So it's no harm to experiment and see what works for you. So there is 4 small washers inside each bolt there, plastic washers, so just keep an eye out for them, that you don't misplace them. And then when they're off, the screen just pops off like that. That's the screen. So now with the screen off, if we just look in here at the side, we can see this is the brackets that's holding it on. 2 front screws here, and these are where we make the adjustment. So we can see another hole there on top. So what we'll be doing is removing these 2 screws and moving that down to use these 2 holes rather than these 2. So again, your 5 Allen key will do to remove these. So minimum tools needed for this job. Of course, it could be made easier by Honda. They could have self-adjusting screws that you could just thumb screws and take off and slide it up and down. But no, it's not that easy. It's just they made it that bit more difficult. But I suppose it's not something you're going to be moving and adjusting every day, really. So that's the difference from them 2 down to there. So I'm just going to get the tape and measure that and see just what is the actual distance that's been moved. So there we can see it is roughly about 1.5 inches in the difference, or about 4 centimeters thereabouts. That it's moving down. So now we'll do the same the other side. So now, that's our two brackets moved down. So we'll put back on our windscreen. So now, we can already see the height difference there. So I'm going to take it out on the road and see what difference it makes. So I'm back from my trip. I've done about 10 miles or so, and it's been interesting. And you know what? I don't really find any significant difference in it. Maybe slightly better, if anything. Not sure why. Maybe you're not getting that buffeting wind noise coming in directly over the top and hitting you in the face. Maybe that's why. But no, there's definitely no negatives to report about it. I actually prefer it that way, and I think it enhances the look of the bike too. I like a lower screen rather than a big high screen on the bike. So I think it looks better. So I think I'm going to leave it like that and see how it goes. But it maybe not suit everybody, you know. You might prefer a higher screen or an extended screen, but everyone to their own preference, of course. But yeah, it definitely pays to experiment with it, lower it down or raise it up, or if you have to get a higher screen, yeah. But I would, before you go investing, I'd experiment with it and try working with maybe what you have at the moment and see if it makes a difference. You might be surprised actually. But definitely I prefer the lower screen on the bike. The higher screen reminds me of the Honda 50s and 70s I had years ago. You'd have a big high screen on them, which I thought looked kind of funny. But yeah, I prefer a lower screen. I think it looks better and makes the bike looks better. But anyways, there it is. So there are plenty of options available these days, and definitely worth trying out, adjusting it and moving it, and before you invest in a screen. But as I said, there are plenty of options available to get taller screens in one piece. Quite reasonable, probably for about 100, 120 euros or so. You get a screen, and if not that option, you can go with an extended screen like I have there on top, cheaper option. and it works well for some. So if you have any questions on that or any comments, or would just like to leave your thoughts on what you've done with yours and what has worked for you or what hasn't, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.